Another cold calling live. We are here. What's going on, everyone? So first and foremost, I'm going to ask you, where are y'all tuning in from? Go ahead and let us know in the chat. Where are you tuning in from across the board? And I'm gonna ask our guest something different. What's been the most exciting part of your week so far?
Oh, I have a good one.
Start us off, Sarah. Talk to us.
I went to Soul Cycle this morning, and I haven't been in so long. It's like my favorite workout class, but I went to the 7:30 one in Hudson Yards in New York City. Never been to that location before, so it was just like such a good way to start my day. Like definitely a highlight of my week so far.
Okay. Those classes are intense.
Yeah, they're intense, but like the music was great. The instructor was great. Like I went with my best friend. It was like such a good way to start the day. So I feel like I've accomplished everything now. It's only 11 o'clock.
There we go. I love that. Will, what do you got for us?
Same thing with Sarah. It's like this week, just trying a new workout. I've never done Pilates, but
did you do hot Pilates or regular Pilates? There's a huge difference.
It was regular. But it was outside but it was outside in 100-degree AZ weather. So
okay, that's fair. You're on that level.
And that was my first time.
You guys still have the heat. And it's cold here now.
And we got after it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still like what? It's 100 what? What is it today? Like 102 probably?
It's like 102, but it's going to be cooling down, and Phoenix is about to be the place that everyone wants to be for the next 6 months.
Right. Oh yeah. Question. We're gonna get into cold calling, y'all. I swear. But here's a question we gotta answer first. They're wondering, have you ever done a berries class?
Yes, I love berries. I just like don't go often, but when I do, I love it. So fun. I love like the treadmill bit, the weights bit. Love it.
Awesome. Well, y'all, we're getting fit out here. We're getting fit out here. So before we do that, we are going to dive into some cold calling live. If you haven't been on this before, the way we go about this is we will share our top tips when it comes to cold calling so that you all can go execute. We also, if you want to come up, you can raise your hand and you can do a mock cold calling live with us here. That's where people get the most benefit. If you don't want to come on, that's also fine. Drop your questions in the Q&A. If you drop them in the chat, sometimes it will be lost, just to be transparent. So if you have a question off the rip or later in this conversation, throw them in the Q&A. The goal is to make this very conversational. Now, what I also want to get an understanding of, before we introduce the guest here today and we go into it, in the chat, I'm actually just very curious, on a scale to 1 to 5, 1 to 5, because some people like to do 1 to 10, but we're doing 1 to 5 today. 1 being like, I just got started or I'm not the greatest, which is fine. We've all been there. 5 being I'm elite and like no one can stop me. I can convert anyone. What would you rate yourself in terms of cold calling in the chat? We just want to see where everyone's at today. And we just want to see what's going on. So, all right, y'all, let's see. We got a lot of people putting in. We got a lot of 1s. So looks like we got a lot of 1s to 2s. Some 4s, some 3s. See a 4 in there. A 7. Someone always has to just be lawless. Just not obeying the rules. It's fine. Okay, but exactly. Someone's gone out of pocket. So, okay, we got a good mix here. So the goal here today is to get you 0.5 better with the people we have here and the experience that these two have. They recently have been still in the trenches. Sarah just went off on her own, so I'm actually curious how she's taking her approach of what she did in the past and now. I'm actually just very curious on that, so we're going to see. But, across the board, we're going to dive into how you all can be better. Also, let us know what your roles are as well. If you're SDR, BR, AE, sales leader, maybe we have some marketing that snuck in the room. Let us know that as well. But again, our goal is to get you prepared and ready to go. So with that being said, let's introduce our guest. Let's start off with Sarah. Talk to us, introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll go to Will.
Cool. Hey guys, I'm Sara. I'm the founder of Selling Sara, which sounds very crazy to say, out of body experience. But basically been in sales for about 6-7 years now. And I'm still cold calling. So a lot of people were confused why I was cold calling as a sales director at my last role. But you're going to be even confused even more now because I'm still cold calling as a founder. So I truly believe that you're never too senior to get in the trenches, especially with your team when you have one. So I'm always cold calling, posting those cold calling Friday videos as well. But obviously a lot of you guys inspire me too when I see you posting as well. So that's a little bit about me, but I'll hand it over to Will.
Well, I'm actually curious, before we go to Will, Sarah, you're just getting into this, how many calls do you make as a founder versus a sales rep? Is it like obviously lower? Is it different? Is it the approach different?
Yeah, good question. I would say give me a few more weeks to figure that one out, only because amazing.
You just got it. No, I was just curious.
However, I think it will probably be a little bit less just because I am wearing so many different hats in the business right now. But what I really love to do is just block out like an hour during a day, typically Fridays, that I can just, bang out a lot of cold calls. I would say Friday I did that, and I did only about like 15 to 20 because I don't have a lot of numbers just yet. But definitely made the most of it, booked some really good meetings. So I think I'm just going to plan on sticking to like one session a week, just because I am running meetings, I am closing deals, lead gen, the whole 9 yards. There's no one else to do it except for me. So I think I'm going to be sticking to my time blocks for sure.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely follow Sarah's journey. If y'all are not, if you want to go sales rep to a founder, definitely follow that. Will, talk to us.
Yeah, I'm interested, Sarah, to see kind of that progress, because I think as people know more that you're a CEO, I think inbound leads are just going to flood you, and then you're not going to have, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll have as much time to cold call. But
you don't. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, this guy,
from my own experience.
But that's a good problem to have. That's the best problem to have. My name is Will. I've been in software sales for 4.5 years. I've been a senior account executive for the last 3.5, almost 4. I'm a senior account executive at Aspire, which is an influencer marketing platform. We work with some big brands you might know of, such as like Dollar Shave Club, Walmart, Dove. So helping them power their influencer programs. I have being fully transparent with everyone. I have a team of SDRs, so I don't cold call. And this is one thing, as you guys start to get higher up in the mid-market, enterprise, AE realm, the cold calls become less frequent. You can still do them, it's still a bonus, but I think there's a misconception around the industry that the higher you get, the still same level of cold calls you're going to be making. It's candidly just not true. So, but I love cold calls, and they're extremely important. They got me where I'm at now.
Awesome. And I'm more going to be the host running this today. In partnership with Cognism, we run these cold calling lives to educate you all. I have a B2B influencer marketing agency. And so there's a lot of the full circle moments here. I have been an SDR myself. I've made 100 cold calls a day. I mean, I've been through that grind. I think everyone on this call has as well. And I'm here just to share best practices on what I've learned during those SDR roles, but also during the time when I did sales training with JV Sales. So excited to dive into this conversation. And if you haven't been here before, what we're going to be talking about are literally these things. We're going to give you cold calling tips. We're going to have live feedback with the chance to win a prize. So again, chance to win a prize. I'm going to tell you what that prize is. And then Q&A. Like I said, if you have questions, throw it in there. If you decide to come on and test your cold calling skills, you can win one of these prizes. You can't get all of them because some people like to get greedy. You ain't going to win all. You can't get all of them. You can get one of them. Okay, one of them. So if you want to get involved, raise your hand. Come do it. You can either get the JBL headphones, which they are nice headphones. $100 to get whatever you want, Uber Eats, or a North Face backpack, which they're actually pretty clean. So again, raise your hand. Come on, do a mock cold call with us. If you want a chance to win the prize, we'll bring you up. But before we do that, let's get into the tips. So let's start with Sarah. What is your top cold calling tip as of right now? What do you got for us?
Yeah, I think as of right now, especially since I no longer have an office, I literally will call up my friends or my husband and I'll do a few role plays before I actually get on the phone, especially since I also have a brand new pitch. So I'm not as confident as I was from my last position, being like very kind of just like ingrained in my head. Like it's very different now. And I've often made the mistake, as you would have guys seen in my last video on Friday, of saying my old company's name, pitching this for my new company. So like, I'm just not 100% there yet. Like I'll raise my hand and say that. So like, I think my biggest tip right now, what I'm personally going through, is just like running through your pitch a few times before you actually get on the phone. You just don't want to waste that opportunity for when you do get someone on the phone. Like you want to make the most of it. You want to nail those 30 seconds that you do get. So just do a few practice runs. And even if you are someone that works from home, like like me right now, you know, you can always role play. It doesn't have to be with someone on your team. It could just be with like you in the mirror, honestly, recording yourself. So just go through a few practice runs. That's what I'm doing right now. You know, if you don't have a team, you could still easily do that with yourself, friends, family, whatever you need to do to get yourself feeling more confident before getting on the phone.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, if you don't have a tech or AI or whatever it is out there, definitely calling someone a friendly is gonna get you confident and get prepared. So I love that. Will, what do you have for us?
So I think I'll stay on the same theme of just what I'm dealing with now. It's, you know, I've been in the same industry for 4.5 years. So I know my prospects' challenges like from the inside and out. I've met with them, had them walk me through their processes. So when I make cold calls, and this is what I would advise everyone to do, is I understand that not everyone's in an industry they're super thrilled about. But I believe if you can get passionate about where you're at, get passionate. Start meeting with your customer success team. Start listening to client calls and understand what challenges your software is actually solving. So that way, when you make the calls, you already have questions that you know is a common challenge that other companies in that industry are currently facing. So for me, because I know those challenges, every time I make a call, I'm asking impact questions along the lines of what could the impact be? For example, I sell influencer marketing software. What could the impact be if we can give you a database of millions of creators and you can find hundreds of creators and outreach to them in the same time it would probably take you to do 2 or 3 manually? What would that impact be on your business? Because I've had 1,000 calls of it being a big impact.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's another great point that other people can add to their repertoire as well. I would say my top tip, I'm going to use AI here. I'm going to use Allen Iverson. I know everyone hears about AI a lot, but this is something I've been doing recently and it's been interesting. So, you know, obviously when you cold call somebody, they are going to, once you do your pitch, they're going to bucket you in a category and they're going to be like, either I have something like this or I'm already evaluating this or whatever. So obviously you're going to face these objections and you want to get in front of it. So what I've actually been doing is, most of you are probably familiar with G2. If you're not, it basically is like a, a, a website that basically people can go and review software, right? And they have all the commentary in there. So what I've started to do is I have an AI prompt that basically analyzes. I put all the comments or reviews of competitor products or services, and then I'm putting it inside of AI to be like, hey, what are the strengths of this product? What are the things that people are mentioning that they wish that they had, et cetera. So then it synthesizes all this information from the other competitors and from other softwares in the space. So it now gives me a better understanding of when I can proactively address objections. I can proactively address things before they even happen. So a little bit more work probably than most people want to do, but I've actually found it to be helpful because now I know what the market sentiment and feedback is on X service or product. In my case, it's influencer marketing services. So I have like all this stuff of like what people are actually looking for versus like what they don't care about. And it actually has helped me to do better, write better emails, calling in this scenario, et cetera. Something y'all can check out. Again, you go to G2, you literally could just like take all the feedback, throw it in AI and say, hey, like, what exactly is this saying? Why don't they like this? Or what do they like about it? And then you could tweak your value props to that. So I found that actually pretty fun. So yeah, AI. But with that being said, if you'll have Adam, I use Claude. Claude, I think actually is better than ChatGPT. This might be a hot take. I might get yanked off the stage. They might come after me. But like, I think Claude is better because I feel like it actually gives you information as if like you were talking to a human more than like a robot, to be fair. I know that people use Perplexity. I know there's other ones out there, fair play, but I just found that Claude is better. And I just use that prompt to then basically feed it information and then like all that stuff. I can build projects. I can do screenshots. It can build diagrams. Like this is not an AI webinar, but like, yeah, you can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. G2 plus Claude, I think it's game changer. Yeah, Harry, it's free, but like you got to be careful because like if you put in too many queries, you actually could overload the system and then they won't let you do anymore. So you need to be careful what you're doing, to be fair. But I just bought the pro version because I use it so much. Cool. All right. Now we have hands raised. So we're going to bring people in. Okay, we got a person. What's going on, man?
It's like lovely day for me, and how are you all? Like
Good.
Sarah, Morgan, and well. Okay,
We're doing
so
well.
if I talk about Sarah, like I used to see your LinkedIn videos. Like I'm following you on LinkedIn, and I used to see your LinkedIn videos and getting motivated from those videos to do cold callings and all.
Oh,
So
good.
yes. So basically, like the company that I'm currently working with, it's Appify, and we are basically a app development software, like app development company. We also help companies with websites, with AI chatbots and all. So I just wanted to ask, I get in touch with the people and how to generate the urgency for the clients. Okay, because if I'm calling them, if I'm arranging appointment calls with them, but it is not like that it is going to close within 6 months or 1 year or 3 months or something. So we don't have any bracket that how much time it is going to take to close that particular deal. So if you could just suggest me like how we can get the clients close as soon as possible.
Wait, pause. So when you said, how long is the sales cycle again?
Mm, like sales cycles, it depends upon the client, like what exactly the client needed it or not. So we need to find the like potential clients that who are looking for the mobile application for their businesses and all.
What's the average though? Like a range, like 6 to 9 months, 6 to 10 months. Like what's the
Like
range?
it's around it's nearly 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. Okay, cool. So you're trying to
Hmm.
figure out, just want to clarify the question. You're trying to figure out when I do a cold call, how do I get them to book a meeting and then close faster? That's what you're asking.
Correct. That is
Uh,
absolutely correct.
okay, cool. I'll give my advice here, y'all. Y'all can chime in if you want to as well. So essentially, like, this comes down to right person at the right time. Right time is harder, right?
Hmm.
Because you just don't know. There obviously are tools out there that can give you signals. Yes, you can go do research on their website and you can do your due diligence, but there's still gaps in areas where you just won't know. My advice to you is, because it sounds like you do have an infrastructure, you have clients, is you need to reverse engineer what's currently in your CRM. So let's say the past 6 months, whatever you've done, because you said three to
Hmm.
6 months, so probably top in 6 months. I would go and look in your CRM and say, okay, which roles, when we work with them, it leads to faster closing. Now that's a completely different conversation, because if you're overall not closing fast, that becomes a discovery obstacle, and that's a different conversation than what we're talking about today. But let's just stick to what we're talking about, which is cold calling. For the last 6 months, I'd see which buyer personas are actually moving the fastest in the sales cycle when they're included in the conversation, and those are
Hmm.
the people that you need to call first, and you need to develop a script for them. And then you need to reverse engineer why they're actually buying this app development software faster than everyone else. And then you need to reverse engineer those pain points and then include them into your cold calling pitch. If you do those
Okay.
things, then you should lead to faster closing, because you're targeting the right people, and that should
Hmm.
be faster. That's my recommendation. Sarah, Will, don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah. I think like my biggest thing is like when I'm always trying to, decrease the time of the sales cycle, it's like I always just kind of explain a little bit of what Thomas just mentioned in the chat, is making them realize like the problem, and then also walking them backwards through what I call like a backwards plan. So kind of like how Morgan just mentioned, like reverse engineering, like in the CRM, like I actually try and reverse engineer like their mindset as to like why they should be buying now versus like if they wait. So I'll
Okay.
always mention like, listen, like totally appreciate you want XYZ delivered here. So I'm selling sales training right now. So I'm speaking to a lot of clients that want to set up training for the 1st of January so that they're getting their sales reps so that it were just hired on the right foot. Now, right now, what I'm trying to do is trying to tell them like, you've already hired them, you just hired them. If you wait to train them until January, they're probably not going to be ramped and up to speed for like another 2 to 3 months. So would you rather them be fully ramped in March of 2025, or would you rather train them now up until Christmas? That way Jan 1 hits, they're fully ramped and ready to hit the ground running first day of the year. And it kind of
Okay.
gets thinking to say like, oh, actually, like that makes more sense. I'd rather them ramped for Jan 1 than start Jan 1. So it's almost kind of walking backwards, like the client, to understand the benefits of buying now and starting now. So if you can apply that and make that to your, ICP, like I find that really helps a lot. It's just kind of like implanting it in their head of being like, well, here's the benefits of doing it now rather than waiting.
Okay, that's great. That's great. It's
Will,
I guess
anything that you want to add here?
Not too much I want to add. I think you guys did a great job. I think for me, I've always been able to have a fast sales cycle with always getting next steps in the books. So it's like, let's do another next step. Hey, when are you meeting with the team? Okay, let's do a next step to go over that feedback. Well, I don't really know. No, let's do a next step. And it's like every time you have a next step, you're creating energy in the deal. And before you know it, they close faster. So I would just make sure you're getting next steps with every single prospect.
Okay, so like we also need to do like prospecting towards the decision makers of the company. Like, are they one who can literally make a particular decision for the company, or how much time it is like they're going to take to make those certain decisions, right?
Well, yes. Go ahead.
No, go. Well, the thing is, I think sometimes, to be transparent, I think we get so caught up in targeting the decision maker that we don't realize there's other people who have information. So like I inherently, like I would try to get in front of anyone I can who's going to give me information. If I can talk to someone who's entry level, but they have the information and they were in the meeting somehow with the executives and they told me exactly what the executives were talking about, I'm going to have a higher leverage of response because I actually know what's going on versus the people that went after the power and didn't talk to the people who had the information. So yes, you want to do that, but also it's being mindful that there are other people who have those and who has the information as well.
Okay, that's great. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
You all looking lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna bring up the next person. If y'all have any questions, make sure to throw them in the Q&A so that we can answer them across the board. We want to make sure that we answer your question, and then we can go from there. And I think one of the biggest things here, right, is just making sure that when you are calling, you're doing the right things across the board, and you can set it up. So we're gonna bring in the next person here. Craig, what's going on?
Yeah, all good, all good. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Absolutely.
Hello, Will. You're right.
Good, thanks.
Good. So yeah, just to give you a little bit of an introduction to myself. So I've been working for a company called Multiplier for now, well, about 18 months actually now. But the next task for me is to actually start a UKI team, so UK and Ireland team. That's going to take place in November, December time. So it's really getting that team up and running, getting that team going, but using the technology that's out there. So AI, I have used ChatGPT myself for outreach. We are using the likes of Ample Market, which does now have an AI capability. But it's also, when you're doing those cold calls, actually learning and finding out a little bit more about the people that you're prospecting. Is that person a final decision maker? If not, where do they fit within that scope? And I use something that is called Scotsman, nothing to do with Scotland, but it's called Scotsman. And effectively what that is you want to try and get that figure down to zero as much as you can. So the solution, do they need it? Competition, who are we up against? Are we up against the likes of Deal, Remotes, you name it? Originality, is it something that is going to really benefit them? Timescales, size, money, authority, need. Everybody's heard of bands, I'm guessing, on this call. So yeah, I'm quite happy as well to do a bit of a cold call and just demonstrate exactly what to do.
Cool. Okay, so can you give us some context? So what type of buyers do you call? And then and then a little bit, you mentioned a little bit, but like what exactly are you selling? And then we'll pick someone that you're going to call and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, of course. So we are in the EOR space. So if you think Deal Remote are our competitors, so where you can employ anyone anywhere in the world, you don't need an entity or a bank account, and we do all the payroll, back office admin compliance for you. That's probably the easiest way to explain it, and that's a bit of an opening pitch. The sort of people that I go after, HR managers are gold dust, but sometimes they're very, very difficult to get in contact with. And also, one thing that I've always found is that they are very, very slow to move forwards. So sometimes you want to find those people that are having the real pain. So they might be a little bit lower down. They may be using the system. They may be struggling with dealing with legal teams here, there, and everywhere. So you want to find those people that have the real pain, that are doing this on a day-to-day basis, and it's taking a lot of their time out. So by doing that and finding those individuals, you can share their pain. It's a horrible terminology. I hate this terminology, but it's quite a good explanation. But it's effectively making a wound bigger and then putting a plaster over it by saying, this is the solution. They know what the issue is. You want to explain, if they continue, doing that, and whilst they're expanding, how much worse it's going to get. But then saying, look, by using Multiplier, this is what we solve. This is how we do it. This is what we can bring to the table. And this is how you can expand easily without having to worry about what's the legal issues in France or Germany. I pick those two out because they're difficult.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. So then who wants to be the prospect here? Well, Sarah, me, who wants to do it? Who's filling up for it?
I can do it.
All right, Sarah,
Sure.
you'll be the prospect. All right, correct. So how this is going to work is your goal is to schedule the meeting. So whenever you're ready, you can ring the phone, and then we will give you feedback.
So I'm an HR manager, I'm assuming, Craig?
Yes, yep. You'll be a HR manager. I've probably done a little bit of research beforehand. That's what I always do. So I'll probably mention 2 countries where I think that you have people in, but you can push that because sometimes LinkedIn does lie as well. So
it can waffle a little bit for sure. Definitely can be a waffle.
Craig, if you know anything about me, I will definitely be pushing back. So we'll see what you got.
All right, Craig.
I hope
it's your time.
I like the challenge, Sarah. So ring. Hello, is that Sarah?
Yes.
Hello, Sarah. It's Craig calling from Multiplier. How you doing? You all right?
Good, thanks.
Excellent. Good stuff. How much do you know about Multiplier at this moment in time?
Who? What?
Multiplier. Okay, not to worry. Don't worry. I'll explain. So we help companies that are looking to scale and onboard internationally, but overcoming hurdles such as compliance, payroll, back office admin, but without that need for an entity or a bank account in the country in which you're looking to hire into. Now, I've just had a look, Sarah, and I've seen on LinkedIn, on your company's LinkedIn, you've got people that you're looking for in both Germany and France. I was wondering if you could help me out here. I was wondering how you're onboarding staff outside the US at the moment.
We have an internal team.
You have an internal team. Fantastic. Excellent. And with regards to the current employees, I see that you've got people dotted around the globe. How are you onboarding those members of staff?
Yeah, so we have a pretty substantial onboarding process. So we have like a 6-week program that they'll go through once they're hired.
Okay, fantastic. And in multiple countries as well. How do you manage that at the moment?
We just have teams all over, to be honest. We're a pretty well-oiled machine.
Okay, perfect. Are those some of those your own entities?
Yes, they all are.
They all are. Okay, fantastic. I see though in Germany you haven't got your own entity. Are you looking to start one up?
We literally just did.
You literally have. Okay, no problem. Of course, setting up your own entity does bring along with it lots of costs to that as well. So can be very expensive. There's a lot of legal people. How much of a headache has that been for you?
I have to admit, it's been pretty smooth sailing right now. We got some funding a few months ago, so we've been able to kind of budget it out perfectly so that we were able to open our own entities.
Okay, fantastic. So with regards to that funding, if you don't mind me asking, how much roughly do you think you've invested into that?
Oh God, I can't give you a number, but it's got to be up there.
It's got to be up there. Okay, fantastic. Well, with Multiplier, what we can do is lower the costs. So,
how can you do that, Craig?
Okay.
How can you lower the cost?
So we have got entities in over 150 different countries worldwide. The places where we don't have entities are probably places that you wouldn't employ into anyway. So we do have people who are legally on the ground. Or anything happens, they will know. So if there's a legal law change,
Craig, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just running into a meeting. How much do you cost?
Okay, so our costs do start from $400 per person per month. So
Okay.
it will be a considerable saving on the entities. In, say, for example, Germany, how many people have you got on the ground there at the moment? Full-time
Yeah,
employees?
Craig, why don't you send me an email? Like I said, I'm just running into that meeting right now, but I'm intrigued to hear about the lower costs.
Perfect. What I'll do is I will send over an email. However, what I think would be better for you is we sit down at a particular time so we can make it specific for your requirements. And
Yeah, I'm
can...
pretty busy, Craig, but if you just shoot me over that email, that'd be really great, really helpful.
Of course, no problem. What sort of information would you want additional to the costings in that email?
Nothing additional, just costings.
Just costings. Okay, that is absolutely fine. I can certainly do that. What are the plans for the next 12, 18 months?
Craig, I got to run, but I really appreciate the call.
That's absolutely fine. No problem. I will send over that email. I'll pop over some times that are free in my calendar. Just let me know and we can sit down and I can see what I can do for you as well with regards to all the costs.
Great. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Craig.
All right. Thanks so much, Sarah.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, let's give Craig a round of applause. Harry said,
wait.
Craig said, I wish it was
Craig,
Will.
that was so good.
Harry was like, yo, Sarah's not playing games.
No,
you can just see her face. It's like, yeah, you're so long. Best of luck.
Let's go, Craig.
So let's do a couple things.
Be a challenge. You know, I'd much rather than somebody be easy on it.
Craig, I think that both of us just turned like a shade darker of red. I'm not mad about it. I needed some color in my face today.
All right, y'all. So let's chat. Give us the feedback. We see the chat giving out goat signs here. Let's let Will go first, and then Sarah, you can go, and then chat. You can give us feedback as well. But Will, talk to us.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely had a lot of patience, so I will just give you that because you know, Sarah wasn't giving you too much. She was giving you information that she's doing things internally, that things are going really well. I think a couple times you ask some close-ended questions.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, we're like totally like, hey, this is a cold call, so I'm just being, for the sake of this, just nitpicky for feedback. That's why I always like to ask impact questions. So I like to say, what would the impact be if we can cut your savings or cut your costs in half? Okay, how can you do that? Well, Multiplier is $400 a month. I can imagine, based on what we hear from customers who switch over from an internal process to Multiplier's process, that you're probably paying what, $800 to $1,000 a seat? Boom, now you have leverage. Now, if Sarah still wanted to push back and play like, nah, I don't want to do this, that's when you as a sales rep can be like, all right, it sounds like you have everything figured out. And that's why I like to kind of like really go hard at them and say, so it sounds like you have everything figured out. You know, you guys are doing this in a timely manner. This isn't challenging for you. You've actually been able to somehow get costs below $400 a seat. Is this all true? And then they'll be like, well, not exactly. And then you could kind of go from there. But I think overall, you were very patient. I loved your demeanor towards her, just trying to help. It was very helpful tone. So I think you did a great job just with your overall phone presence.
No, thank you so much, Will.
I think you were like the friendliest person that's ever cold called me ever. Like I wanted to like talk to you. You had like great personality, like great tone. I would say the only thing I would have done is closed for a second time. So I would have been like, totally appreciate that you're busy this week, Sarah, that you have a meeting right now, but how's next Thursday or Friday afternoon look for you at X or Z time? Just make it as easy as possible for them to just like think, like, even if they don't have their diary in front of them, just to be like, oh, actually, like that might work. So I would just always close for a second time. I think closing early is great because it almost throws them off a little bit to be like, whoa, wait a second. Like sometimes they'll be like, wait, what is this again? And then you almost get like the second chance to like pitch and like really nail it down. And then you get to close again, which is great. So like, don't be afraid to close for a second time for a next step. You could still say exactly what you said, Craig. Like, I'll definitely send you the email. And I love that you said like, what's valuable, like in that email that you really want to see. And I was like, costing. Like, what if I still send you over that email, Sarah? However, why don't we meet end of next week when you're less busy? I appreciate you have a meeting going on right now. How's Thursday afternoon look for you? And I'll also send you over that email. If you have any questions, we could go over it on the call.
Yeah. No, good points. No, thank you.
I think the last thing I'd say is I want to bring up this feedback by Adele here, because I think this is really important, is asking that, because based on how your talk track is and who you are, you see your contextual caller, which is like, if you have the information, like the conversation is going to go really well. Obviously, this was a mock cold call. So this feedback here was similar to where I was going to go, is that like having that question at the beginning that's more towards them and opening it up. I feel like once someone opens up, like you got it, right? You're going to be able to bring use cases. You're going to be able to have a good conversation because of how you personally set things up. So that was the one thing I would add, but I think everyone's feedback here, you take those things, you should be good to go. Thanks for coming on. Sarah gave you, just a little.
No, thank you so much. To be honest, I prefer that as well. No, thank you so much. And it's been really, really good so far. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, Craig, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Shout out to Craig. Craig's gonna go far. It's just good people. Shout out to Craig.
Good vibes.
Hang out with.
Great guy. I want to get a pint with Craig. Craig, I'll do it when I'm over in the UK.
Shout out to Craig. All right, y'all. So we're about to go into a question that someone has. If you have questions, again, put them into Q&A, because this is the time where we're going to drill into them for our next 15, 20 minutes we have here. But I want to make sure that everyone is feeling good about what the information you got so far. So in the chat, put helpful, insightful, if you are finding this to be helpful or insightful so far. So just let us know if this has been helpful. I know we had a lot of people who were 1s, 2s, 3s, etc. We just want to make sure that this is helpful towards you and moving you in the positive direction. So let us know in the chat if everything is good. Looks like everybody's excited. All right, cool. So we're going to go into this question here, which this is interesting, right? This is interesting. On the topic of balancing outreach between end users and decision makers, does anyone lead strongly to either snowballing accounts from a top-down approach or bottom-up? So I'm curious on both of you all's perspective. Chat, if you want to join the conversation, you have your perspective, feel free as well. But Will, I'm curious for you, like you're looking to an account, you're going to sell them influencer marketing, you're trying to do maybe a strategic prospecting with the select accounts you have. Are you saying, let me go after bottoms up? You going top down? What are you thinking?
So this is just my own anecdotal evidence that I've had.
It sounds like a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like, I feel like the end users in marketing don't respect a cold call. They're like, just hang up on you. The DMs have had some sales experience in their background, or like they are high enough up where they're having to do selling themselves. So when I cold call them, especially like VPs of marketing, COOs, well, sometimes CEOs, if it's a VSMB or a SMB, they're more down to chat. Like they're very abrasive at the front, but once they realize I'm calling about something impactful to their business, they love to have a conversation. And they're the ones who actually follow through with showing up to a demo. Like I feel like end users sometimes in the marketing space play the game of like, I don't know, like I can't make decisions. I don't want to spend time with you. So whenever I call the DMs, it's like, it's fun. But I call everyone, but I have better experience with DMs.
Okay. See, okay, cool. Will game respects game 100%. So a lot of people agree. Sarah, is your opinion the same or completely different?
Mine's just like I always have a top-down approach. I would prefer to just kind of cut right to the chase. I think I'm more of like a direct type of person, if you guys could not tell. So I just want to try to get to the highest person possible that potentially has buying power, because then it lessens the risk of me having to have multiple meetings, to try to get to that person eventually anyways. So I'm just, yeah, apex predator, I guess, is how people are putting in the chat. And I guess I would have to agree.
See, I'm with me and JT Tree here. This is me. I'm just Inspector Gadget, y'all. I'm just trying to get the clues. I'm just trying to get as many clues
I don't
as possible.
want the clues. I just want like,
I want the clues.
I want to close the deal as quick as possible.
I'm a different approaches. I just, if the bigger the account, the more clues I want to get. So like, I think of like when I was doing sales training at JV Sales, like Glassdoor, it's like I used Glassdoor to get into Glassdoor, and I reached out to the reps because they didn't have SDR training, and then that's how I got in front of the VP, and that's how I closed the deal. And no one else had done training with them at that point. That's why I like the end users, because they have the tea and they have the clues. So if I say I have 10 people that told us that we need to go do this, it's way more prominent. But I will agree, if it's like smaller accounts, for sure, I'm going to go after the decision maker. But for like bigger accounts, like, yeah, I'm getting as much tea and clues as possible. But I know it's all situational.
I also completely agree. Like it definitely depends on like size of company, but I also want to bring up something too that like Jay said, like for example, like yeah, it may be tough to sell to a DM when there's no appetite from the end user, but there already might be an appetite by the end from the end user that decision maker knows about internally. So that's also when it comes down to like right place, right time, and sales is all about timing. So you might actually call a decision maker where he's like, actually, my entire team was just complaining about this, and this is a solution I need to fix for them. It was just mentioned in our sales meeting. So like it really all is about timing sometimes, and just, timing's right in sales. It will go a long way for you. So
Craig's back with some advice for us. Check out Craig. Okay, so I agree with this too. Aim for the decision maker, but get feedback from the people below the power line on the day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree with that too.
Cool. So here's one that we're gonna pull up. With the rise of automated sales outreach tools, cadences, whatever, would you say automated emails, LinkedIn activity is enough, or nothing replaces us picking up the phone? This is a very intriguing question. Sarah, what's your take here?
Yeah, so I turn away from automated email and LinkedIn just because I personally think it is so obvious when you get an automated message. And sometimes I also don't think cold calling is enough. So like, how do we make the best of both worlds? Still call, make sure you do your research and have a really great hook. But also at the same time, there are ways that you can easily, quickly personalize LinkedIn messages. So you guys, Will and Morgan, I'm a big proponent of sending LinkedIn videos through the mobile app. And that obviously shows that you're taking a minute out of your day to personalize a video that you're sending to a prospect. And for the most part, that will make you stand out of the crowd, because if you send an automated LinkedIn or email, you are definitely getting buried in that inbox with the other 500 automated emails that they've also gotten that day. So if you really want to stand out, cold call, yes, and then do personalized LinkedIn, such as voice notes or in videos, is pretty much like my call.
Yep, cold calls. Or a really well thought out personalized email. I think those do wonders. People sleep on those.
Yeah, I just think automated, like it's so easy to identify these days.
It is, and I think it doesn't build the muscle of relevant and intentional messaging. because you're just clicking a button and you forget how to be relevant too. Big part of, I think that's why you should be more manual than anything. But everyone's different. And yeah, I would just say also I'd agree to this as well. It does tend to do more damage. You definitely want to make sure that you're being intentional there as well. So I would 100% agree with that. Let's see. We got some more questions that are coming in. Okay. This is an interesting question. Modern bare bones sales tech stack to get the job done in terms of high quality research and signals for calls. They're using Apollo, SalesNav, and HubSpot Starter. Any other free tools maybe you suggest here on what they can do? I guess is their question here for both of you.
It's definitely bare bones.
Yeah.
I'm a bare bones kind of girl, so I don't use a lot.
I'm
You don't really use a lot.
I have
Yeah.
so much back.
Me and Will are like 180s. I'm looking at this list. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's all you need.
I'm like, here's 20 tools you can use today.
I'd add in ChatGPT and that's it.
That little stack would not get it done for me. I'd be like, I can't do my job.
What would you add? What would you add? I guess if they could get a free tour or something like that.
So if you're trying to go bare bones with it, obviously you got to have Loom for videos. So add in Loom. What else do I use? I mean, you're gonna need a. Yeah, I'll leave my piece there because I was gonna give alternatives for Apollo and HubSpot. Or HubSpot's fine, but I would give alternative for Apollo.
I would add in a Loom or something like that for sure. I would add in a book. This is very granular. I'd add some HubSpot. I guess they would have this too, but some type of booking link. I think that's I just don't want to waste time. Boom, here's the link. Figure it out. And then the other thing that I would add is what Sarah mentioned, probably a Claude or ChatGPT or anything. Anything beyond that, it becomes maybe a little bit overwhelming. I would agree. Or actually, I would even say this is such a small detail, but Mac, if you have a MacBook or whatever computer you have, do keyboard shortcuts. That's another thing that I would definitely tell you to do. Shortcut messaging, shortcut on how to handle objections in your messaging, quick things that you don't have to keep copying pasting. But that's really, really small details. But those are the only things that I would add. I think anything else beyond that, you're probably getting into intent. Someone mentioned the Cognism bit for sure. You obviously need data, but then beyond, you have Apollo. So I think beyond that, you're good. If you just have, honestly, I was talking to John Barrows about this actually the other day. We were saying if you just have LinkedIn and a LinkedIn sales nav and just data and an email, you should be very good. Because most people live on LinkedIn. If you can master LinkedIn and get in front of people, great. And then if you have data to email them, you're set. And you have numbers, you're pretty good. You actually don't need more than that. The more stuff you add is just if you just want to amplify it, the videos, etc. That's my take at least. Grammarly, that's another good one. So I can get into.
I like Calendly.
A call recorder.
Fathom's good. Yeah, it's free.
Yep. Something like that. Low cost.
Yeah. Is there a difference between Loom and Vidyard? I mean, it's probably so small. I mean, they all have video platforms. I really just tell you whatever you feel is better for you. I mean, that's kind of where I go into for that one, to be honest. All right, y'all. So we're right here at the 9 minutes. Where can people find you all moving forward? So, Will, where can people find you if they want to learn?
This was fun. I feel like I don't want it to end. I feel like I just want to have everyone come up and do some cold calls, and we just do this all day. That would be fun. You could find me on LinkedIn, Will Padilla. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. I post very random stuff on those two platforms. My handle is sell.sass. So SAAS, sell.sass, all one word. And that's where you can find me.
Cool.
Sara?
Same thing. LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. That is, my usernames are like a million A's and Y's for my name, but I actually don't even know my TikTok username if it's 3 W's or 2. So let me double check and I'll put it in the chat.
I'm on YouTube and LinkedIn and whatever Twitter decides they want to call themselves nowadays. So I guess it's X. Those are the 3 that I'm on.
I literally
Cool.
look at my handles right now because I actually.
But you will get the recording, so don't worry about that. You will get it. You will get it. All right, y'all. So any lasting tip that y'all want to share with the audience before we get out of here for both of you? Things that they should do after this.
For cold calls?
Just in general. Cold calling.
Enthusiasm sells.
Okay.
That's how I've been able to, every call I leave, I'm like, I'm going to just show up with a smile. And if they don't like it, that's okay too. Oh, that's a good one. Stand up. That's actually a huge underrated tip. I'm standing right now. This is my standing desk. I stand all day, and that's probably why I'm always so like, hey, what are you doing? But when I'm sitting down, I'm pretty lame when I'm sitting down, to be honest with you. Motion creates emotion. There you go.
I like that. Okay. So, you're standing. Sarah, are you standing or sitting?
Yeah, I'm standing.
I'm sitting, but when I call, I stand. I stand by my window. I look out the window. I pace. It like makes me feel like good. So definitely recommend standing. I always recommend it. But I think if there's one last thing I'd say is I think a lot of people in the beginning of this call were saying that they were like 1s and 2s when cold calling. Like, I would just say just tone and just having that confidence. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it on a cold call. So just remember, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, they probably won't even notice that you did if you sound amazing and you sound really confident in what you're saying. So tone, confidence, standing up, all of that will come with standing too, which really helps. So, don't be afraid to be confident, have some ego, put yourself out there and have faith in yourself, because, it will go a long way and it will sound really good in your voice.
I'm all about standing and pacing. And it's like just really good energy and flow. Could not agree with y'all anymore. Best times to cold call.
Fridays.
There we go.
All day. Friday.
I like Friday too.
I love Friday. Also, 9 before 9, 5 after 5 is something I always preach. So catch your leaders before they get into the office. Catch so many people. Like, out of 9 cold calls that I'll make before 9 a.m., I'll literally have like 3 or 4 conversations, and they're all on the coffee line at Starbucks. So they're willing to speak. Also, after 5 p.m., they're leaving the office. They don't mind taking a quick 30-second call. They're on their way out. So highly recommend those times plus Friday.
Love it. Yeah. You East Coasters set the tone for the day, and then us West Coast, we're just catching up.
Yeah.
We're like, whoa, what just happened? East Coast already set.
The only thing about East Coast, Will, is there's nothing worse than when I call West Coast people at 9 a.m. knowing it's 6. And I totally was like, oopsie. And they actually answer and they're like, are you kidding me? Like, literally. So bad. And I'm like, oh shit. My bad, I'll call you later. And they're like, literally don't.
The effort though.
I'm like, so sorry. Early bird gets the worm. Like, not in that scenario.
I've 100% done that before. Yep. They're so upset. They're like,
yeah, and you West Coasters. Yeah, you West Coasters don't have to deal with that because we're always awake.
That's true. You East Coasters, I'm like, I need something. They got to be up at 9 o'clock. It's all good. Guys, I think everyone wants us to run this background too. I would love to run this background too. I mean, if we can, I'm up for it.
Oh,
we can make it happen.
Round 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was like, what's the background 2? I'm like, what's that?
My background? Oh yeah, I'll blur the background.
It's actually a new tip. If you don't have a door behind you, you're not going to convert.
I was like, ooh, what's the background 2? The second version. I don't know what that is. Run it back, round 2. Got it.
We're just getting way off tangent.
Yeah, it's just run it back. I don't know why you had to run it round 2.
This is what happens.
I'm getting cooked.
Yeah, this is what happens when you talk to me. Anyways.
It's too funny. All right, y'all. So again, I hope that you learned. Oh wait, last thing. This is the very last question. We'll leave. Do you call any other day except Fridays?
Yeah, 9 before 9, 5 after 5 every day.
Okay, I just want to clarify that for everybody. Okay, good. Gustavo, yes, we had a little bit of fun. We're back to normal modes here. So all right, make sure that you follow Sara. Now that you have her handles, make sure you follow Will and his advice as well. And we will run it back. No backgrounds, just run it back. And then we will run it back for sure. So again, hopefully y'all feel more confident coming out of the session than you came into the session. And if you want to see the next one, we will come back next month. Anyway, Sara will be back. We'll try to get Will back as well into the mix, and we'll have some more fun with this. And again, if you didn't get a chance to make a call, come back the next time. We'll make sure to do that for you. Make sure if you have questions that didn't get answered to follow up with these two, they'll 100% be able to answer it. I can also answer it as well. So hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for showing up. You will get the recording because I know you're going to keep asking me. Yes, you will get the recording. And then y'all have a good rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.